Yo, 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 what's going on, world? It's your boy Najee from Cigar Talk. And today I have a very special guest, man. Seated to my right, hey, this legendary talk, this boss talk right here. I got my man, Leonard Ellerbe. What's up, my brother?
Barry, boss.
Man, how are you, brother?
Man, just keeping it moving. Just down here in D.C.
Yeah.
Down here doing a lot of promotional stuff. Getting ready for next week.
Man, this is one of those moments that's like, you know, everybody's clamoring. It's bigger than boxing. It's one of those moments. You've been doing this for such a long time. Does it feel the same to you, kind of like this moment compared to all the other big moments that you've been a part of?
This is big. This is Floyd Mayweather-ish, kind of big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's these two guys coming together, you know, both from two different cultures, you know, and these cultures coming together, you know, with this young generation, it's huge. That's why it's the biggest fight in all of boxing.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Definitely for the casuals also, like this is one of those ones. It's interesting throughout the whole press conference, you know, you've been side by side with Tank. Like I see you and I know just, you know, Tank as far as his business, I know he was with Floyd and then he's doing his own thing, but we still see you present. Like, what's that like, kind of still being present with Tank amongst whatever business he's deciding to do?
It's my guy, man. Tank's he's a solid guy. So from my standpoint, we've built a relationship over the years, and you know, I'm just doing what I need to do to continue to elevate him to greater heights. You know, I have a lot of experience in this area, so I know what it takes, and you know, I'm just blessed to be that voice for him to continue to, you know, blow him up.
Yeah. Does it feel the same as like the way y'all grew Floyd? Because like I said, I'm a Floyd fan. I watch Bob Abadaka all the way on. You know what I'm saying? So does it feel the same as far as growing a star in this generation compared to like what you guys were doing with Floyd?
It's totally different, to be totally honest. But some of the same ingredients, two totally different people, you know. So we're in the social media era, you know, in which, you know, it has really helped a lot with just entertainers as a whole with being able to have a voice and for it to be heard immediately.
Right.
You know, they're not behind some firewall, and you know, so it's a big deal with being able to be that guy in this era.
Yeah.
And he's that guy. Tank is that guy.
Facts. Yeah, that's a fact. This fight, it feel like it took a little bit to kind of actually get this one going. Obviously, Ryan feel like he's been calling for it for a while. You know, I've heard him calling out Tank for a little bit. You know, Tank's doing his thing. Was this ever a point where you felt like this wasn't gonna happen?
Yeah, there was definitely moments like that because, you know, honestly speaking, you know, I'm glad that he stepped up, meaning Ryan, because if it wasn't for him forcing his side to do it, I don't think we'd be sitting here talking about this particular fight.
Like meaning you don't think Oscar ain't want that?
No, I know for a fact he ain't want none of that. No. He get up there in front all he want to. He know what time of day it is. He come next Saturday night.
He gonna see
firsthand what it looked like.
It's funny. I was at Gervonta's fight. That was against Rolly actually at the Barclays. And there's this little moment. It went viral. I don't know if you even knew it was me. I was sitting there talking to Ryan. He was, you know, Ryan was up in his thing, and I'm like, yo, man, Leonard right there. Tell Leonard right there. And I tapped you, and you and Ryan had like a little.
That was you.
That was
okay,
me.
Yeah, right. And I came over there.
Yeah, and I was hyping it like, yo, Ryan,
right.
Talk to Leonard. What's up? What we doing?
Yeah, that sure was you.
Do you feel like that was like his, you know, his energy as far as like really wanting to fight? That's what kind of propelled this whole thing?
No doubt. Tank had that same energy too, you know, when it came down. But Tank is just not as vocal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Tank always wanted to, you know, to do this. But Ryan on the Ryan side, you know, we've had a cordial relationship over the years. He's a cool young dude.
Yeah.
You know, I mess with him. You know, but he get knocked out. You know, and so that was one instance when we were, like you said, we were ringside, and he was going back. And I said, tell your team to get it done.
Right. And
And
he said, I'm going to tell Oscar, I'm going to be the one.
Yeah, that's what. And I said, okay, well, we waiting on you.
Right.
You got to make that. You got to make that happen.
I feel like that was a turning point, like for him at least, like wanting to be on his team about that.
That was one of the instances. Yeah, because he has been vocal. Obviously, he was on the Mike Tyson pod.
Yep.
And, you know, they
Mike called Tank.
Yeah, they FaceTime Tank, and he's talking about, I'm going to knock him out in the second round.
Right.
Well, we're going to see next Saturday night. All the talk is about done now.
Right.
We get ready to go into fight week. So we're going to see what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, though.
Have you been in camp with Tank like this whole time? Or like, are you as the, you know, the marketing specialist or whatever it is that you're doing, are you still active with the fighters in camp?
Well, with this particular camp, I haven't been as much because I've been out here doing this, you know, because it's a lot of work that needs to be done, and that's what I've been doing, you know, traveling and that. But Calvin has got him in tip-top shape, and him and Coach Kenny, and they ready to go, ready to do their thing next week. Yeah,
I love, you know, being able to speak to OGs in this thing because it's like, you know, like I said, I watched every Floyd fight, and you know, you've been blessed to be a part of something that's like special that we may not ever see again, right? Like, what do you think makes Floyd this special? Like for him to do what he's done and accomplished everything in his career, and you seeing all that, if you had to sum it up, what do you think made it like that?
He's special. If Floyd Mayweather special, it's like he's one of one.
Yeah.
You know, what he's been able to do with the sport of boxing, he changed the game. Single-handedly, he completely changed the game forever.
Yeah.
You know, he was the guy that stepped up, and you know, he was all about the fighters deserving the lion's share of the money, and the fighters need to start getting paid. And he laid the blueprint out there for this particular generation to, you know, kind of, you know, pick it up and see what they could do with it, you know. But he laid that foundation. He showed y'all how to go out there and be the best that you can be in that ring, but have you a great team behind you.
Yeah.
And those two working hand in hand, ain't no stopping.
Right. Tell me the time, like, I guess internally, because there was the shift to me, right? It was like, y'all was doing the Golden Boy thing. Y'all was with Golden Boy. And
Never was with Golden Boy.
Y'all wasn't with, or was he just the promoter?
We were working with them.
Working with them.
I mean, yeah.
But not signing the Golden Boy.
No, oh hell no.
Yeah. So, but hold up. But when was the shift? Because it felt like every fight at that time was a Golden Boy partner, and then it turned to like, it felt like once Al, I don't know if Al was always there or whatever, I'm just saying outside looking in, it felt like, all right, now the Al Heyman thing kind of happened and things shifted from the Golden Boy to this new thing. What was that like for you internally, like that whole shift?
Well, it was, you know, because we had to master the game. You know, we sat in the cut and watched, you know, what was going on and learned the business. And that was key, instead of just jumping out there trying to figure it out as you go. So when we decided to do our own thing, we were in full control of, okay, this is what we got to do. You know, I hired our team around us, my internal team, and we hit the ground running and ain't turned back since.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that. Do you think, I mean, I always think it's funny that like Al Heyman, he's just this mysterious guy. Nobody don't really know him, see him, you know what I'm saying? You always hear Floyd give him credit. It's like matter of fact, before they say, I thank God, they say, I thank Al Heyman, then they thank God. I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Yeah, what is it like just, you know, having him around, or like whatever he's doing business-wise, how is that beneficial to what you're doing?
It's been very beneficial. I mean, he's been a guy that I've, you know, who's mentored me. You know, he's a little older, but very, very savvy businessman. For many, many years, he was, you know, he was that guy in the music business.
I heard,
You know, he had every A-lister artist there was, and so, you know, when we met many years ago, I just started picking his brain. You know, he's a Harvard grad, and you know, being a brother out there in the entertainment world, you know, you're gonna have your challenges, but he was able to maneuver his way and become that guy in the music business. And then he decided to come into the boxing business and took it over.
Right.
You know, and that's what the thing that most of these people don't like. When I say people, meaning the haters.
Yeah.
Is these three brothers running the boxing game, running the boxing game, running it.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like to see that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We stand side by side, back to back, and, you know, we don't let nobody penetrate that defense, you know, and just do what we got to do.
Was it something that with Al, because like you said, he was, you know, I think he was Beyonce's promoter, like he was a huge promoter, you know what I mean, when I do my homework. Was this something like you guys brought him in and had to convince him to do boxing, or was it like?
No, he was already.
Oh, he was already like.
Yeah, Vernon Forrest was the first fighter that he ever worked
I didn't know
with.
that. Okay.
Yeah, Vernon was the first fighter they worked with. But you know, he's a genius. He's and I've worked very closely with him, you know, hand in hand for many years now, and it's like we have a mutual trust amongst each other. You know, we actually talk 4 or 5 times a day.
Damn.
I'm sure I talk to him more than anybody.
I got to give him 3-way one day, man.
Even the people that work for him.
Yeah.
You know, and he always say that, you know, we have a very close brotherhood, relationship, and solid dude. That's my guy.
Yeah. Man, it's interesting with Floyd. You know what? Because I always say, like, Floyd was a gift and a curse to boxing in a way to me, because it's like his greatness changed the game, and where like now a loss is more magnified to me now than it used to be, because I think Floyd's being perfect and like making that a thing. It's like now I feel like when you lose, it's like a huge, like you sliding down the ladder. I feel like before Floyd, it wasn't as bad. Would you agree with that? Do you think Floyd's perfection as his record kind of changed it in that way?
Well, Naj, to be honest, it's like that's a narrative, man, and they put that out there. It's just like Floyd did his thing. He just worked harder than the competition. He was blessed with unbelievable skill set, but he kept on honing his skills. He kept on, you know, constant repetition, just working and working and working. And so when you put those combinations together, you know, being the most talented guy and then you are working everybody, then it's like, and he took his job very seriously.
Yeah.
See, he never drank or never smoked, unlike 98%, 99% of the boxers that are out there.
That's true.
So he's always took his job very seriously, you know, and when it comes to his job, he's never let anything get in his way of going in there executing. And so he's taken his thing very seriously.
Yeah.
You know, unlike a lot of other boxers, you know, so when it came down to it, it's like each and every fight, he was 100% prepared, you know, to go out there and give it his best effort with knowing that he's competing at the highest level and everybody we put in front of him, he would beat him. You know, so that's where that kind of like that, oh, he didn't, you know, his and all that. It's crap. No, dude, give him his credit. He just outworked everybody. And y'all might lose. Y'all okay with that.
Right.
Y'all okay with that.
Right.
But he's never been okay with, he's just like, he was a winner. Like he went out there and he worked his ass off. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't put, and you have a number of great fighters out there. And this is no slight on everybody else. But he just had a different kind of mindset. He was cut differently. He was cut like he never made a dime. You know what I mean? So I think that's what kind of separated him.
Yeah.
Where he took his career very, very seriously. Not saying everybody else doesn't, but he was just different, had a different kind of mindset.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I had Adrian Broner on the show. That went viral when he called out Floyd or whatever for the little charity thing. But he said he was drinking. He was like, man, I need some 42, Floyd. Like, but it's funny because I've been in the club with Floyd before, and Floyd ordered 50 bottles and he drinking Fiji water.
Yeah, he don't. That man,
yo,
because he's always liked to be on point. And,
yeah.
you know, I had asked you. I said, well, as a kid, you never, no, I never wanted to put that poison in the system. That's what he said.
So the level of focus that we know as what we've seen, embodied in his career, did you see that when you first met Floyd? Like, was it like the same type of energy where he was always this focused, he was always this sharp? Was it always like that?
Always like that.
Damn.
Always like that. I can think back in the mid '90s, like in '97. You know, it's like his focus is just. We would go to clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to clubs, and so, you know, at the end of the night, the guys, you know, they got their pieces with them.
Yeah,
and, You know, Floyd was like, he looking for his gym bag. You know, coming out the club, literally out the club in valet, putting on his gear, getting ready to go run 5-6 miles. You know, and it's been times where I've seen him do it in the rain.
Dang.
I've seen him running in these ones.
Right.
Where somebody done forgot his shoes, his running shoes. He's like, F it, you know, I'm gonna run in these.
Damn.
It's what we call by any means necessary. He's never gonna let nothing get in the way of him doing his job. He's like, if I can go to the club for a couple hours and let my guys enjoy themselves, he says, I can go to the gym afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's what he always done, no matter if we went to a basketball game, a concert, after we do that, he's going to the gym. Whether it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning, no matter what time.
Right. Do you think, like, I guess that early on with Floyd, because I work in music. I work with a lot of artists. I sign artists, I work for Sony Records. And I know from working with artists when they're smaller to working with them when they're big, it's hard all the time to stay around because there's so many changes, there's so many, and you've been like the one thing that's, to me, outside looking in, that's been a constant. What do you think, like, you know, is it about your relationship that you've kind of like elevated from start to being the CEO of Mayweather Promotions?
Loyalty. I take that very seriously. You know, we've been down with each other. He gave me my opportunity, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like he gave me an opportunity coming from Washington, D.C., and made me a multimillionaire. You know what I mean? That's love, man. You know what I mean? So that's real.
Yeah.
He could have picked anybody else, but he chose me. And, you know, and I've been loyal. And that's what it comes down to. It's like that kind of stuff is unbreakable. And it's no different with, you know, with this Tank situation.
Yeah.
It's like I rock with him. You know, it's like I see a lot in him as a young man that, you know, and it's good to have people with this kind of level of experience around you, like guys like Coach Calvin, you know, Coach Kenny. Your support is very important when you're elevating yourself and being on top.
Yeah. Tell me about the time you first met Floyd. Like, how did y'all like get locked in when you first was like, all right, I see this kid and I know something special going on. Tell me that first time.
Actually, he was like about 13 years old.
Damn.
And I was with his uncle, Roger.
Yeah.
Because we had a cool relationship, very close, and his uncle Jeff. And I was in Vegas actually training, you know, working out.
Like you was training other people, or you was just training?
I was training. Roger used to work with me.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and so we were in Vegas, and we were at it was a Mike Tyson fight. Mike Tyson fight, and Floyd had came out there. He had on the Versace glasses, Versace shirt.
Midwest.
Midwest. Yeah, you know, he always had that swag.
Yeah.
And so being from D.C., we got that swag too.
Right.
So, you know, he's like, okay, you know, that kind of thing. And so we just had the energy was there. We had a good connection. And then you fast forward, you know, Jeff and Roger asked me to, you know, come work with the team. And, you know, I didn't start out being the CEO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did what I needed to do. If he needed, you know, and I already had a master's degree. But see, it's like, I'm the type of person, I'll make the sacrifices. You're not too good to do anything. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people don't like to roll up their sleeves and, you know, and I'm a hustler.
Right.
You know, and so we've always had the mindset that we're gonna outwork everybody. You know, and we ain't afraid to put in that work.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. We had that connection and it started out, we started at the bottom and slowly but surely, you know, We put together a master plan and
Yeah. Tell me, I guess, about his, his actual fighting career. I remember, like, at least from my vantage point, there was a few times where I feel like Floyd wasn't supposed to win, maybe, like, as, from underdog or whatever. I think the Corrales one, I was like, I didn't know if Floyd was going to win that. He whooped him. Was there a time internally for you that you felt like, damn, this might be one of them ones, like, I'm a little nervous just because you don't know what's going to happen?
Well, you're always nervous if you keep it a buck. You're always nervous anytime your guys getting ready to go to war. You know what I mean? Because anything can happen in this, in this sport. Mm-hmm. But knowing that he was 100% prepared, I know wasn't nobody messing with him. He was gonna go out there and do his thing. I've always been confident like that. But you get that nervous feeling because again, it's your guy going in there. I feel the same way when Tank
goes in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's certain guys we know that, like, all right, he probably gonna win. Like, I feel comfortable, but there's ever been the one where you was just like, I'm not sure. Like, obviously you're gonna always go for your guy. That's your guy. But one where you was like, I don't know.
Never. I'm just keeping it on because this boxing shit, man. I'm very passionate about it, and you see it in my energy when I'm sitting ringside, whether it's my 4-round guy or it's Floyd Mayweather.
Right.
That's the kind of energy you're gonna get from me because, I love what I do and I support anybody who I'm with.
Yeah. What would you think? What you think was his hardest fight? I mean, I know I feel like he said Chop before. He also said Emmanuel Augustus before. Which one you think was his toughest fight?
I would say the Augustus fight. It was tough. It was tough. He was tough.
Yeah, is it the style? Because he do the drunken master. Like what?
Man, this dude, it's like I love him, man. Actually, I was talking to my guy Mac. He come up with us. He was, it was just me, Floyd, and him at one point. Mm-hmm. And me and Mac was talking about this. It was like we was in the D, and Floyd fought on that KO Nation for HBO, and so I had a conversation with one of the matchmaker for TopRank at that time, about the opponent because we were working towards, fighting Corrales.
Yeah.
And so I knew that he was tough. I knew he was tough.
Right.
And he wasn't a guy you was going to just go in there and get him out of there.
Right.
But those are the necessary steps that you need to take in order to build a certain experience level, to prepare you across the board.
Right.
And he was that level of guy. And it was just so funny because the guys had seen him like in the lobby, and here's this guy, he got on some cowboy boots, this dusty, some high water pants,
right.
And it was like a 3-piece suit with a cowboy hat on.
Damn.
And it was like, so he's
like, this guy?
Yeah, he looked like a bomb.
Right.
He looked like a bomb, right? And so the guys were saying, "Oh, Floyd gonna knock him out in the first round." I said, "Look, he ain't that kind of guy.
Right? Don't get fooled.
That dude, he can fight his butt off.
Right?
And sure enough, get in the fight. He was tough though.
Yeah,
he was tough. A lot of respect for him.
Nah, he was definitely tough. I guess for me as the fan, because like I said, I've been a Floyd fan for so long. So my two, I would say, obviously Shane. When Shane did that, was it first or second round?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the most I've ever seen Floyd visibly hurt. I don't know if he's actually been, because fighters get hurt, but you're not visibly hurt.
He's been buzzed a couple times. It's part of the sport. It's part of the sport.
But then, even after that happened, he came back the same round. And I was like, yo,
Floyd's a dog. He got that. It's something about him when that switch go on. It's like Floyd's a different. See, his fighting style is different than like how he trains. See, that's the Floyd that we know. Like there's internal people. Like if you come to the gym, the doghouse. Mm-hmm. So when he got caught with that big shot, and he started walking Shane down, that's how Floyd really trains.
Oh, like the walk down Floyd.
Yeah, that's how Floyd trains.
Right.
And it's like, so you guys see a whole different side of him when he's in the ring. So I know he's always had that dog in him. And it's like, and the switch go on, and it's like, I've seen that switch go on in the street.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Floyd's
He just
a dog.
got it on.
Yeah, he's a dog. It's like you push his button,
Yeah.
and it's like it's on, and he turned into a whole different person.
Right.
Whole different person.
Damn, nah, that was crazy. Especially he got caught, grabbed right away. I'm just like, damn, this dude computer is just so fast.
And then you saw what he did. He started
Right after that. Same round, though.
Yeah, he started
Yeah.
processing. And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, hit a big shot. He said, I'm gonna get it back. I'm gonna get it back.
Sure did. And then I say the other tough one, definitely Chop Chop, but the Cotto one was a tough one for me too, man. I feel like that was grueling. Like it wasn't like tough like he was close to losing, but it didn't feel easy to me as a fan watching it. It felt like he had to work for that.
It was a very good fight. Cotto was a very good fighter, very good fighter. Mm-hmm. But Floyd made it tough on himself because, and I know what happened.
Yeah.
And he was wanted to give the fans a little more excitement. You know, and that's what made it tougher than what it was. Because Floyd was beating him easy.
Yep.
And then some of the fans maybe, you know, they were getting a little bored with it. And then there was, you know, but he understands he's a pay-per-view fighter.
Right.
And this is about entertainment.
Right.
You know, so he just wanted to get the fans a little bit more. So he started closing the gap a little bit more, taking a little more risk. And because he was out, you know, he was boxing on the outside and it was so easy.
Right.
It was so easy, and he made it a little tougher. He'll admit that. He made it a little tougher than it what it actually should have been.
Right. Tell me about just Mayweather Promotions. Obviously, like, you know, we're here on the brink of the biggest fight of the year, right? Like, so you guys have had built up Tank, a certified star. What does Mayweather Promotions look like kind of moving forward to you being the CEO? Like, what does it look like? Your vision?
We have several young, outstanding fighters. You know, so it's a process with building that young talent. You know, keeping them busy, and really kind of showing them how to be a professional. You know, and building talent towards the future. You know, because when you look around, there's a handful of stars in the entire sport. I can count them on one hand.
Yeah.
So building the star is something that's very, very hard to do. And that's something that we've mastered. And because when you look around the last 30 years or so. Okay, you got Floyd Mayweather, okay, from the past 2 generations. And what you got this generation? Got Tank Davis.
Yeah.
And all of them.
I mean, I'll throw Canelo in there. He kind of.
Yeah, no, and what I'm saying.
For y'all, for what y'all are doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but when you look around, who else has built that kind of star?
Right. Like built. Yeah, it's tough. Not yet. Nobody's reached the pinnacle that Tank is at yet.
No.
There's a couple ones growing, though.
Yeah, of course. It's a lot of good young talent that's out there. And there's a lot of talented fighters in boxing.
Yeah.
But Tank's that dude, though.
Yeah.
Level above everybody else.
You know what? For me, because I had Shakur on the show, and great fight. I can't wait for that super fight one day when that obviously is, you know, is going to come to fruition one day. He said, and I always thought it was interesting because I know Floyd was trying to sign him at one point, and he said something like, he said there was some kind of poster that went up about Mayweather Promotions, and he said it was Tank was big, and it was somebody else that was big. He had a little. They put him on the poster, but he was small.
Who, Kur?
Yeah. He said this was like right after the Olympics, and he said that it was something about a poster or whatever like that. When you guys are going to sign people, is that like is it Floyd the one that's going to do these types of signings? Like,
well, yeah, he's the face of his brand.
Yeah,
he's the face of his brand. So it's like if a fighter meets Floyd Mayweather, you know,
right.
you know what I mean. So
right.
It's like he's active in that arena.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think another thing that's, you know, super interesting for me is like the transition from Pretty Boy to Money. That was the turning point where it was like, because like I said, I always been a fan. I watched Pretty Boy for a long time, but when he turned to Money, that was when it felt like the culture was behind it. It felt bigger than just boxing. Was that a conscious decision from you all internally? Like, all right, we're gonna do that. Like, what was the moment where that shifted for y'all as a unit?
Yeah, it was definitely a conscious decision to, because boxing is entertainment, and we over here, what we've been able to do is think outside the box.
Yeah.
And that is the key, because what a lot of fans, media, and a lot of fighters don't understand is that boxing is a niche sport, and by being a niche sport, it's you don't get as much attention as it really deserves, because it's not a mainstream sport. So you got to find creative ways to raise your profile.
Yeah.
And he was a genius with that, because again, we always find creative ways to elevate yourself and think outside the box and put yourself in situations where, because the boxing stuff is just the normal, straightforward stuff.
Yeah.
And in order to drum up the attention of the mainstream world, as I say, it's like you got to be out there in those circles,
right.
Doing that kind of thing. And
right.
that's what Dancing with the Stars was about. WWE was about,
yeah. Right.
thinking outside. I put him on Dancing with the Stars because we were trying to get the middle-aged white women at that time. Put him on WWE because we had to get the kids.
Right.
Okay, we already was rocking with our culture and our community, so we had all of that. So it was just a matter of, and then, fighting certain type of fighters and kind of stealing their fan base, per se, because Floyd's doing his thing. He's beating every fighter we put in front of him, and slowly but surely you just start building. But it's always about thinking outside the box. Always thinking outside the box.
I love that. Is that something, when y'all did that, was that more like him saying that, or was y'all telling him like, yo, like, turn it up, put it on? No,
it's just, nothing about anything that he did was fake.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Floyd lived that life for real. Like, a lot of people talk about it. It was like, back when Floyd was 21 years old, I can recall us doing a photo shoot for, was it King magazine?
Oh yeah, that was
all
the big booty
girls.
girls.
Yeah, remember King magazine?
Yeah.
So it was like, I can recall that he had this house. It was in one of his first houses in Vegas, and and he didn't have a circular driveway, and all that. It was a nice size house, beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood, but it was like, Floyd had like 21 cars.
Damn.
Like for the photo shoot.
Right.
And actually I went back trying to find that cover. It was one of the dopest covers I ever seen.
Damn.
It was like, and he had so many cars, it was lined up and down the street. It was like he lived that life for real.
Yeah. What was the point where y'all realized like, oh shit, like we rich, like we rich now?
Well, he's always been of the mindset that he trained like he was broke, and I think that was key to him staying motivated, staying hungry, because there were many times that, after fights, because everybody know what time of day it is on Monday, after the fight, you wait for that phone call.
Back to the gym?
No, well, I'm gonna get to that point, but you wait for that phone call first thing on Monday, and you headed to the bank. You know what I mean? After the fight, take that
to the bank.
You're going to the bank. And so a lot of the guys, and people on the team, they were in the mindset of just wanting, like thinking, okay, we're going to go on vacation. But we're like, I see you at the gym at 3:00. That's always been his mindset.
Right.
Always been his mindset. He trained like he's never made a dime. And that's always kept him hungry, because you can imagine living in a $17 million mansion, sleeping on, the best sheets, and
right.
and the mansion's paid for, everything's paid for, and you living on a golf course, and you're at the top, at the absolute top, but it's like, nope, he getting ready to get out there, and he put in them 5-6 miles. Going to the gym, nothing changed with him.
Hold on, but what point did the lifestyle change for y'all? Like from not his grind necessarily, because his grind been the same, but what point, around which fight was it? Was it Oscar fight where y'all was like, all right, like, Shit a little more comfortable these days.
Well, there was a big the first that was the key.
That's
that was the
correct.
key. That getting him, tricking him, and getting him into the ring. That was the key, because we were going to use that as a platform to cross over into the mainstream world. So
Right.
it was a conscious decision to get him in the ring, and once that happened, you know, the money did change. The money did change. It's like it went from, you know, 25 to 50, you know what I mean? It's like, and then it just kind of grew and grew.
Right.
And then, you know, you get to the big one, you know, Manny Pacquiao, you know what I mean? And
Man.
a couple hundred in one night.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's
couple
like,
hundred is
and it's so
crazy.
crazy now because I'm getting phone calls from, because we know everybody, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? All the top guys in NFL, definitely NBA,
Right.
you know, every sport, rappers,
Yeah.
you know, actors, actresses. Because I'm like, how he making that in one night? And especially, you know, top athletes like, man, I gotta play 5 years to
Right,
get this, and this joker getting it in one night.
36 minutes.
Yeah, what are y'all doing?
Right.
And it was just that we just made some conscious, you know, decisions. And
Did y'all want to keep Pacquiao till the end intentionally? Was that the plan? Because obviously, the fight world wanted it sooner than it happened, right? Like, and then there was like a whole like, I know drug testing was the issue at one point, and it was just a lot of different issues
that part? Say that again.
Well, drug testing.
Okay,
I
so
know,
there is no other conversation to have. It's like this: we went to the table to try to make a deal a few years before, and you know everything was moving right along until that conversation came up about drug testing, and this is no secret; it's out there. It's like we couldn't agree on drug testing. You know, Manny Pacquiao at that time. It's like they were looking for a cutoff. And we like, cutoff?
right.
No, like, what we need a cutoff for? You know, and so, you know, that's kind of where it stopped and ended. It's like, there's nothing else to talk about.
Right.
We're not doing no drug testing to have a cutoff. What do we need a cutoff for? And at that particular time, it was like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know, and we was like, no.
Hold on, was y'all drug testing past guys too? Because I feel like, again, what's happening behind the scenes in media be two different things. So I'm speaking for the fans that's, you know, watching this behind the scenes. Before that, because a lot of them say like, oh, well, why were y'all just trying to drug test Pacquiao and not the guys before
Floyd
him?
Mayweather has drug tested every opponent. At all his big fights, we've drug tested every opponent. And every opponent will tell from you ask any of them,
Yeah.
and they've been drug tested.
Yeah. So you think he was on something back then?
No, I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I don't want to speculate.
Yeah.
You know, he's a great guy, and
Yeah.
I like him, and he's doing wonderful things for his country, and I got nothing bad to say about that. But I can say that they wanted a cutoff. That's all. I don't know what was going on.
Right.
No accusations.
Sure.
You know, whatever. But I just know that they wanted a cutoff, and we refused that.
Nice and professional. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
we
that.
refused that.
Yeah, listen, I know you pressed for time. I'm gonna get ready to wrap up. I gotta ask you this question. This was, and I seen, you the OG. I gotta ask this one. I seen a long time ago. I remember Bernard Hopkins said something like it was an issue at TopRank Gym or something like that, and like people got into it, and you was one of the people there that got into it with some guys at the gym. And it was like I said, I remember Bernard saying this, and I never heard it addressed. So I was like, I said I had to ask it. Don't hate me for it, but I just wanted to know.
It's all good because it's like, you know.
Was that a real thing, or was that just like
Things
made up?
things happen and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You stand on the 10.
Yeah.
You know, 10 toes down. It's like you going in life. You going to face things. You're going to go through some type of adversity, some way. You know, but it's like it's life.
Yeah.
It's like next day
It was good.
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Did that make you and Floyd's relationship closer? Whatever transpired in there?
We've always been solid, you know. And misunderstandings happen, disagreements happen. it's all part of relationships, and it's all good.
Yeah. All right. Listen, man, lastly, Leonard, I just wanted to know, like, what does continued success look like to you, right? Like, y'all done damn near did everything there is to do. Like, what does continued success look like for you?
Well, I would like to see Tank be the biggest star in the entire sport, to, make hundreds of millions of dollars and ride off into the sunset.
I love that. I think Floyd's still cool.
Oh, of course.
I ain't see Floyd at none of the press conferences or nothing, so I was just
Floyd's
curious.
doing his own thing. Floyd constantly is traveling,
Yeah.
and he's got his jet, so he's
Word.
constantly doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I love that. Leonard, I appreciate your time, brother. Super dope episode of Cigar Talk, man. Listen, this was Boss Talk, a lot of gems. My man Leonard Ellerbe, we out of here.